Hey, you go watch the performance going on.
There was a religious leader named John Huss who was criticized the church and wanted to reform. He believed that the church should be more honest and fair. Many people supported and could existed.
And who spoke about the truth. He spoke in a way normal people could understand. He believed faith should not belong only to the powerful. I respected that.
In 1415, John Huss was executed. He was burned at the stake. This made many people angry, especially in the beginning. That anger led to conflict known as the Hostile Wars.
When I heard about his death, I knew things were not staying peaceful. People were hurt. They felt betrayed. I believed we had to stand up for what we believed in. So I joined the movement and eventually became one of its leaders.
This step quickly proved that he wasn't just brave, he was smart. But Bernie's War, something even more shocking happened. He lost his second eye.
Yes, another battle, another injury. This time I lost my remaining sight. After that, I was completely blind. For many people, that would have been the end. A blind soldier cannot fight. They would say a blind man cannot lead an army, but they were wrong.
It's honestly hard to imagine a blind general leading troops into battle.
When you can't see, you learn to listen. I memorized landscapes. I listened carefully to scouts describing hills, rivers, roads. I asked detailed questions before a battle. I would picture everything in my mind. Where the enemy would come from, where we would stand, how long it would take them to reach us. Leadership is not only about seeing, it's about thinking.
Another reason why he was successful because of his strategy. His army was often smaller and less experienced than the armies they fought against, so he had to be creative.
We didn't have the best armor, we didn't have the best most knights, but we had something else, determination and discipline. One of my most important ideas were using war wagons.
These were normal farm wagons, but they turned into defensive weapons.
We strengthened the wagons with wood and metal. We placed soldiers inside with crossbows, early guns, long weapons. Then we locked the wagons together to form a defensive wall. When enemy knights charged at us on horses, they hit a barrier instead of breaking through. They were expecting an easy victory, instead they were stopped.
This tactic changed the way battles were fought. It allowed smaller groups to defend themselves against larger military forces.
If we stayed together and followed the plan, we could win.
And they did again and again. Under his leadership, his forces were never defeated in battle.
That doesn't mean it was easy. Every battle was, men were afraid. I was afraid sometimes too. But fear can make you sharper. It can make you focus. I trusted my soldiers. They trusted me. That trust made us strong.
I think what makes this story powerful is not just that he won battles. It's that he refused to quit when life became hard. He lost his eye. He lost one eye, kept fighting. He lost the second, kept bleeding.
Losing my sight forced me to rely on my mind more than ever. I had to think ahead. I had to adapt. And complaining would not change reality. So I choose to adjust instead.
In 1424, after years of leading the Hostile forces, Zisca became sick.
Yes, I did not die in battle. I died from an illness. After years of war, my body was simply exhausted. But before I died, I made sure my soldiers understood something important. Stay united. If they stayed disciplined and loyal to each other, they would remain strong.
After his death, his troops continued using his strategies. His methods influenced warfare for years after. Today he is remembered as one of the greatest commanders in Greek history. But more than that, he is remembered as someone who met his limitations in life.
People sometimes think strength is physical power, but real strength is mental. You can lose many things in life, comfort, safety, even your sight, but if you do not lose your purpose, you are still strong.
What I find most inspiring about John Zisca is that he turned disadvantages into advantages, being blind, forcing to think more carefully, being outnumbered, forcing to be creative. We proved that intelligence and determination can be good force.
I may have lost my sight, but I never lost my vision.
And that's why more than 600 years later we still talk about it.
That was it.